إلهي أنت الحليم العليم العظيم الرحيم.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله إن الحمد لله رب العالمين هو الذي جعلنا مسلمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ما بعد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Well, I like that part the best. Alhamdulillah, originally I come from Texas, bush country. Alhamdulillah, now I'm in Washington, D.C. I keep an eye on the bush. So I need to give you the greeting of Muslims from Texas. And we, like the Aussies, or you say Aussie, these guys have their own slang. So in Texas, Muslims have their own slang. And we say, Assalamu alaikum, y'all. And alhamdulillah, the praise is to Allah, and we thank Him for this great opportunity to be together as servants of Allah, Muslimin. And we thank Allah, the one who guided us, all of us, into this Deen al-Islam. Very often people ask me the question, how is it that priests and preachers would go into Islam? You would think the Christians would be the most amazed, and they are, but it's more amazing to the Muslims. Although, actually, it should be logical. Because for the Catholic priests, I'm giving an example of the Catholics now, I was not Catholic, but for the Catholic priests, they begin their lives usually as altar boys. They're very young, and they serve the church, and they're the ones that take care of the candles and carry things for their priests and do a lot of the work. They're the laborers. Then they enter into their seminary school, and they begin to really sacrifice their entire lives. They're never allowed to get married, never allowed to have sex, never allowed, of course, to have any children or grandchildren, because you don't do that without a wife. He can't have anything of his own. He doesn't buy a big house. He doesn't have a big car. He just lives in the church or wherever they want to put him up, and he's on assignment wherever they want to send him, and he goes. And he does all this for what reason? And what is his purpose? And in fact, it's because he has this commitment to serve the Lord. Regardless of what he believes about God, and of course that's where we're going to have our big difference, is in the Aqidah. But still, this is his commitment. He's made a commitment of his entire life, of really sincere offer of his whole life, sacrificing everything for his belief. Along the way, he would like to learn more. And in fact, I heard from several nuns that the reason they went into the convent to become nuns was because they wanted to learn more. But the knowledge wasn't available in the streets or in the churches so much. They go to a certain level, but they don't really explain the Bible. Rather, they explain their particular dogma or beliefs, which is called catechism, the basis of Catholicism. But then after they got into it, in the convents, they found, they're being told you can't read the Bible at all. If you need something from the Bible, go to a priest. But if you go to the priest, well, he's told the same thing. You go to the bishop. The bishop, of course, if he needs anything, he can go to the cardinal. And the cardinal, he has to go to the pope. And for them, the pope is Jesus' representative on earth till Jesus gets back. For those who believe that Jesus is God, basically he's God on earth. And many of their people worship their pope as though he's God. And they take from their pope the halal and haram, the same as Muslims take halal and haram from the Quran. And if the one pope said this is halal, but that's haram, the next pope can come in and go, no, this is halal, that's haram. And they'll switch. I asked the priests of the Catholic Church about that. They said this is what makes our religion so great. We're always ready to adapt. He liked it. He was also an alcoholic. And I'm not joking. It was a serious problem, and when he retired from the prison system, he had to go into rehab. But he's not the only one. I didn't say it as a joke or to tell on him. I didn't tell you his name anyway. I said it so you can understand how much the people are committed. But when they can't find the answers, what can they do? What can they turn to? The church permits them to drink wine, and they drink a lot of it. Alhamdulillah, I wasn't Catholic. In our particular denomination of the Christianity, those who are religious, who want to get closer to God, those who would like to learn and teach the religion, don't have to give all of that up. They can still get married. They can still have children. They can still choose to own a house here or there or somewhere, and still, they could even own a business, which is what we did. My dad was ordained in the 1960s, and yet he still owned his own business. And the same for me later, that I could also do the same thing. So, it's a lot better deal, I thought. But these people are all still doing this with a commitment toward their belief. Do you follow that? And they believe, according to, at least the Bible tells them, that there's only one God. The Old Testament says that, many, many verses. Many of you have probably heard that it says that in the Torah and in the books of the prophets. But also in the Injil, the New Testament, it says the same thing. They asked Jesus in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 28, 29. I don't know if you follow the numbers, but it says that they asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? And he quoted it right out of the book of Leviticus. I looked it up, and there it is. He said it just like it says. To know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one Lord, and you have to love him with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. Well, that's not so different for us. We might not say love, we might say worship. You have to worship Allah with everything, with khushu', sincerity, devotion. So to me, it looks like, really, when these people, the religious leaders of any faith, if they know God is one, I even heard Hindus, by the way, even though they got 33,000 things they can pray to, I heard them still say God is one. I heard that. I was in India this year, and the president of one of the banks there was riding in the airplane right next to me. And when he saw I was a Muslim, the first thing he wanted to do is tell me God is one. I said, yeah, I think that's pretty much what we figured out too. We didn't start with 33,000 either. But I did have a problem. I did start in Christianity where it's kind of like 3 and we had to narrow it down to 1. But still, when a person is sincerely seeking the truth, he's really seeking the truth, doesn't it make sense that Allah would guide them to the truth? And if they really ask Allah, why would He not give it to them? The only thing that would stop it is if they didn't really want it. So when a person really wants to be guided, whether he's a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, or a fire worshiper, it still comes down to the same thing. If he's sincere, Allah can guide him. No problem for Allah. In fact, Allah makes it real clear, you're not the one who guides anybody. He tells us that in the Quran, more or less the translation to English, it says, you don't guide whom you love, but Allah guides whoever He wills to this right way, to this Islam, to Him. And He's really guiding them to Him, because the ultimate goal for the Muslim is more than just escaping the fire. The ultimate goal of the Muslim is more than just getting in the front door of the Jannah. And the ultimate goal of the Muslim is more than just wanting a lot of good food or a beautiful wife, or like in the newspaper telling that all we want is 70 dancing girls, you know, or whatever. The goal for the Muslim, and Allah said it in the Quran real clear, is to see Allah. What would be better than that? To see the one who created you. To approach, to be able to actually have a way to be that close to the one who has sustained you. What would be better than that? I don't know. That's my goal. And it's the goal of every Muslim. So if a person really wants to draw close to Allah, this is what their sincere being inside is saying, I want to get close to Allah. I want to get close to my God. Then the only thing they have to do after that is just hang on real tight to the rope of Allah. Because He's going to test you. Now then you come to the subject of testing. This is not a common term used much amongst modern day Christians. They don't really like to go into that idea of being tested. And in fact, some of them totally reject that, say, oh, no, this life is no test. That's not really it. But for the Muslim, that's the first thing out of their mouth. Ibtallah. This is from Allah. This is a big problem, but it's still from Allah. And la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one hadith, he said, Ajib, amazing is the condition of the believer, because only good is coming his way. That when anything good is coming to him, he's appreciative to Allah, alhamdulillah. Any difficulty comes to him, any fitna comes to him, then he makes sabr, persevering, steadfast, patient, and it's good for him. But this is only in the case of who? A believer. So when a person said, I believe, with sincerity, according to the Christian, believing what they believe, that's it. Good to go. One Baptist told me, if you will become a Baptist, just say, I believe. Of course, I don't want to repeat what he said, you got to believe. But you better say that, you're saved forever. Once saved, always saved, doesn't matter what you do. After I became Muslim, they said, turn your back on Jesus, you're going to go to hell. I said, really? But what if I had been a Baptist? Still good to go, right? It's like a spare tire in the car, you know. They couldn't answer that one. But when a person said, I believe, that's not the end according to Islam, that's only the beginning. Do they think, the human beings, and Allah says the nas, which means human beings, do the human beings think they're going to be left alone on saying we believe and that they won't be tested? And the word he used in Arabic was fitna, which is more than just a small test. It means big time. Big time. And he's going to test them like he tested those before, to show those that are truthful and those that are lying. Exposing us, really. So this is what we could expect. And it's exactly what happened in my case. It's the same thing that I've seen in thousands of people come to Islam. Every time they were sincere, they really want to do something, the next thing you know, they got a problem. Big problem. And they're calling me the next day, oh my God, this and that and so on. I said, I told you, be ready. Some Christians said, yes, but how do you know Islam is right? Don't you think, you come to Jesus and everything is easy, and you come to our religion and you're guaranteed salvation and you have this and you have so and so. I said, on the other hand, for us, we're going to tell you Islam is gharib. It's strange. Because if you come into Islam and you say, La ilaha illallah, we cannot promise you for sure you're going to go to Jannah. I can't guarantee that. Can you? In fact, the only thing we can guarantee you is fire, the hell. That's easy. I can tell you how to do that real easy. But you want to go to Jannah, man, you're talking a big job. Islam is easy to understand. But nobody said the deen is like, okay, lay back, take it easy. Don't have to do anything. Some people ask me, tell us the story how you came to Islam. I was thinking to do that tonight, but I changed my mind at the last minute. You know why? Because I heard I'm going to be back here several nights. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very, very sneaky. I'm going to save it for the last night. Why? I want you to keep coming back. And I want you to bring somebody with you every time until you get the idea. The reason I came here, I'm not trying to tell Muslims how to live. I'm not trying to tell you about your deen. You should be telling me. I'm the new guy on the block. And you all know Arabic better than me. I'm still working on trying to pronounce the ayn. I ain't even got to the ball yet. I'm still working on the ayn. By the way, they told me something. I couldn't get it. They said, in the back of your throat. Get back in there and just go, ah! Squeeze your throat and say, ah! Ah! I couldn't do it. Till one brother heard me talking in English. He said, you just said it. In English, you're using the ayn. I said, what? He said, you guys in Texas, you have ayn. I said, we do? Yeah. I ain't gonna do it. Then I found out we have ghain as well. Yeah, because your mama says, you're gonna do it. Oh yeah. So we have ayn and ghain, alhamdulillah. But I decided that the best thing maybe here to do in Sydney is encourage you, to bring somebody with you. Bring somebody not Muslim. Or bring somebody that's like close to Islam. Or somebody that never prays, but they're a good guy, but they just don't pray. Bring them. Especially on the night when I tell the story about how priests and preachers entered Islam. Because I watch so many people when they hear the story. It's a true story. Not just me. I had a friend who was a Catholic priest. He entered Islam the night before I did. And of my dad, of my wife, my kids, my stepmom, another priest later on, and then others and others, and then in the prisons, in the military, and in the schools that we visited, and even in churches, and I've given shahada to people in their church on Sunday in front of their preacher, and one in front of her own father. Alhamdulillah, Allah did it, but you know what? And they never got mad at me. I don't know what they did after I left. But because we brought it real simple, we didn't complicate it. I'm not telling you you could do that because I don't know what Allah has written for you. But I asked Allah for this. I ask Allah for it every single day. Let me see people enter Islam. Let me see people wake up to this deen, because I like to watch it. I like to watch somebody go through what I went through when they wake up and go, oh my God, it's so clear. It was right in front of me. I just didn't realize it. I love to see it. And you know, because all of a sudden the tears start coming down their face. I was in a prison one time, give shahada to a man about 6'6", 6'7". We measure in inches and feet. I don't know how you measure it. But it's a guy that much bigger than me, huge man, and he's in prison. Yet I watched him cry like a baby when Allah gave him the hidayah. It's too much. It's too sweet. And I've seen it so many times and I still cry. We have a video online on one of our websites. We had a lot of websites, by the way. And in that video, you can watch 135 people stand up and make their shahada at one time. That happened in the University of Curacao in the Dutch Antilles about 2 or 3 years ago. My dear friend Mutahir Sabri was with me. He and I both traveled down there. We spent a week. We went to the television stations, the radio stations. We met with the Prime Minister, everybody. And we made a big deal out of everything. Everywhere we went, we were sure to shake hands and hello and how are you? And, you know, and they see us like this and they go, huh? It was after 9/11 too, by the way. But it's Allah that guides the people. So I hope you'll do that. Oh, the website. You want to know where's this website, don't you? I'm going to tell you the main website, and from there you can find what you want. Because we have 4 major websites on the internet, and I don't want to confuse you. IslamAlways.com. Like one word, IslamAlways.com. Got it? You get those W's and stuff. You know how to do all that. Just IslamAlways.com. And go there and look. Because guess what? When you get there, you're going to see a lot of amazing things. You're going to see a channel broadcasting 24 hours a day. We're broadcasting like radio on the internet. It's broadcasting through our website, but we actually pay to broadcast it on a radio broadcast around the world, and we have a subscription to our own broadcast. So you can actually hear that 24 hours a day. We also have chat rooms that we put on there, and it's monitored by Muslims around the world to help people to know what's the true deen of Islam. The biggest problem they have is Muslims that go on there and act silly and stupid and say bad words, and they have to knock them off. Sorry, but that's what happens. They're mostly like kids, 12 years old, 13 years old. But they help the non-Muslim see the true Islam. Then we also have other websites, the stories, how priests and preachers enter Islam. We have the discussion boards where we answer a lot of questions. And then we have a library in there of books that we're putting up. We also have free Quran in English, Arabic, and transliteration. Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, the Muwatta of Imam Malik, the Fiqh Sunnah of Sayyid Sabiq, and it's all free, and you can download it to your computer in less than 3 or 4 minutes, if you have a high-speed internet connection. And I didn't even tell you the best part. We have one of the links. It's on the lower left side. It said Islam yesterday. You see headphones. click on that. It will take you to the audio and video pages, and from there you can see or listen, up to you how you want to do it. It depends on your connection, really. But you can actually watch videos. While we were in Canada, United States, Curacao, the one I just told you about, and in India. And soon, inshallah, Australia. How did you like the way I said it? Australia. I'm getting it down, man. Inshallah. Well, I'm very happy Allah let me be with all of you tonight. And if anybody has to go now, I understand that. But if anybody wants to stay a few more minutes, I'm going to take a break just long enough to drink a little bit of water. And then we'll pick back up, because I know some of you have some questions, and I'd like to do that. But if you got to cut out, no problem. I think is it tomorrow night we're coming back? Anybody know? Where's it? I don't know. Is it? There you are. Huh? Thursday night. Is it? Okay, I'll be back with you guys on Thursday night. So make a note of that. So if you got to go. Let me get my little drink of water, and then I'm going to pick up, because I want to get a chance to answer some questions, inshallah. Run every time you get a chance. You can stop your tape now. And then we start back in a minute. So you stop your thing and start it up so you have a separate file. I love the idea you have a cat in here. That is so cool. That's like the coolest masjid in the world. You got a cat, and the cat just comes in and goes, da-da, 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 you know. That is so cool. How many of you like the cat? That's where it's at. By the way, in my country, the young people have a new deal. You know, they're always changing language. When I was young, 1940s, the language was completely different. When you were excited and happy, you would run out to people and say, I'm gay, I'm happy, you know. Today you do that, they lock you up, you know. It's like, what's this? Only in my country they wouldn't like, they think, oh, that's great now. Oh, they're gay, huh? Astaghfirullah. But now the youth are using a term, I never heard people call this before. I was in California last week, 2 weeks ago. And the latest expression, teenagers are calling their friends, right? They go, hey, dog, what's up? I said, excuse me, what'd you say to that boy? He said, hey, dog. Hey, dog. I said, let me tell you something. How many of you heard of Tupac? Anybody heard of Tupac? Yeah. What are you doing listening to that crap? Anyway, he's dead. He got shot, but he has some buddies that ran with him, the rappers, they call rappers. One of them made Shahada, became a tough Muslim. I mean, he's really strict in Islam. And I was sitting in his house a couple weeks ago, and when they introduced me to him, he'd been watching me on the internet, so he's all excited he's going to meet me. Most people are excited to meet him, but see, I don't keep up with that. I don't have a clue who he is. But I said, let me tell you something. You know, I love you for Allah already because you're my brother, but don't call me a dog. Okay? Because when I grew up, we didn't call people dogs. We called you a cool cat. And from where I'm at, and just so you understand, cats rule and dogs drool. So I'm not down with that, okay? Keep your dog stuff to yourself. But anyway, I like the cat. I'm ready to get started again. I got my water. I'm ready to crank it up. If anybody has to go, don't feel bad, because I'm just going to answer some questions. The first question is, and I'm going to ask them and then I'm going to answer them. This makes me look much more intelligent, by the way. The only other way I play it is you give me the answer and I'll guess the question. You know, on Jeopardy, they do that. You want to see Jeopardy? And you say, well, I'll take this one, and they give you the answer, then you have to figure what's the question. Well, anyhow. Boy, I hope I get to keep the soundtrack from all this laughter. I'm going to use it on my website. You guys are great. But anyhow, really, I'm serious. But now I want to come to some questions that I get all the time. First is, there are the standard questions that I always get when they hand me the paper and I look at it. It comes, first of all, from the sister section, because Muslims should always consider the ladies. We'll take the ladies' question first. Thank you, ladies, for this question. Do the Muslims have to wear hijab? And the answer is no. Not all of them. Just the ladies. Wait a minute, there's another part on here. I didn't see that. Sorry. It says, do the Muslim women have to wear hijab? I read it wrong. I'm sorry. Do the Muslim women have to wear hijab? And the answer is no. Just don't go outside. Is it right, Sheikh? I'm just guessing here. When I was in Medina and Riyadh this year after Hajj, we had some of the top sheikhs. Now, I don't know if you've been to Saudi Arabia and seen some of the sheikhs over there, but they actually practice in front of a mirror never to laugh. Never laugh. They get in the mirror and listen to everything funny and make sure, I know you're gonna laugh. I don't care what they do, you cannot make me laugh. But guess what? One of the king's relatives, anyways, one of the princes over there, got a big palace, invited all the sheikhs, and they invited me to come. Well, I like the free food, that's nice. And I like to be with the Muslims, and especially I like to be with the scholars, not because I'm going to learn anything, because I'm too dumb to figure anything out, but I just like to tease them, you know, to have fun. So, by 4 o'clock in the morning, we had them rolling on the floor, then laughing so hard, they're crying, but they still didn't want to smile. I'm not going to smile. We had a good time. But when it comes to the subject of the hijab, I did hear about a hadith. I don't know what's the hadith, I don't know is the level of it, but they said it's hadith. That there will be 4 that will be punished for a lady who doesn't wear hijab. The father, her brother, the husband, and her son. 4. And that's not mentioning her. That's mentioning somebody else. Now, if you wondered, wait a minute, how can somebody else be punished for what somebody else does? How can I have a burden that I can't bear? That's not fair. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. And how are you going to, wait a minute, how does that work? There's another hadith saying about women that if they are at the gravesite screaming and, you know, like pulling out their hair and ripping up their clothes and going crazy over somebody dead, that the one in the grave is going to be punished. How is that fair? He can't do anything. He's just laying there. He's going to be punished because this lady is doing that. Well, the scholars explained the hadith like this. They said because he didn't teach them the right way. He allowed them to do that, so now he's going to be punished because they're doing it. And the same way for those who don't make sure the women understand the proper dress in Islam. There are 2 clear verses in the Quran describing exactly what Allah expects from the believing women in their attire. And they're not parables. These are not just little stories or poems in the Quran. It's exactly describing how she is to dress. Nothing in the Quran tells you how to dress. It doesn't. We know from hadith about the awrah. But Quran is specifically saying in 2 verses, Surah An-Nur, which Sheikh was reading from tonight, by the way, right? Yeah, I like your reading, by the way. MashaAllah. Chapter 24, he was reading the beginning, but when he come to this verse, is number 30, not 31, 30, said, tell the believing men. You notice I mentioned men? Because Allah mentioned that. It's not fair to take one ayah but not mention the other one. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze. Lower their gaze. And to guard their private parts. And that's better for them. This is the status of a Muslim. This is a believer. That's what he does. But look at the next verse. And tell. This is waqul. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze. Guard their private parts. And to draw the khimar down over juyubahinna. Is that what it says? Close enough. Juyubahinna is the chest. And the khimar is the headpiece. And the Arabs understood that and they did that. Those women who didn't have a khimar tore from their waistcoats, from their morts, that they had an extra cloth, and they put it over their heads and their faces. And Aisha, radiallahu anha, she made dua for them, and this is in Sahih Bukhari, in the English translation, chapter 6, the volume is 6, and the chapter is 222, and the hadith number is 282. Chapter 220 and the hadith number 282. There you go. Go read it for yourself. So it's in the hadith, it's in the Quran. This is how women are going to be. If they go out, if they're going to be around any men who are not their father, their sons, their father's son, etc., etc., then, and Allah took the trouble to list the whole family. This is not a joke. And it's not just for Arabs 1400 years ago. It's for the believers. It doesn't say tell the Arabs, go look. It says tell the believing women. And the second one is in Surah Al-Hasab, chapter 33, verse 59. It's really clear in that one. Ya ayyuhan nabi. Oh, no, wait, that's just for the Prophet. Tell your azwajika, that's his wives. Wa banatika, that's his daughters. And the believing women. Oops, you didn't want me to read that part, did you? That when they go out, they have to draw their abaya all over their body. But it's not their fault. You know why? Because in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, if you go by the numbers like I do, ayah number 34, the first word is rajulan. You, the men, have the responsibility to provide and protect the women. That's your job. And you're not protecting them because, number one, you didn't even educate them to know that this is a part of Islam. And they're not acting like believers if they're not dressing like believers. And you're not helping because you haven't provided them the environment where they're comfortable to wear it. And some of you have forbidden the girls to wear the hijab, and wallahi, you'll answer that on the Day of Judgment. And don't lie to me and say you didn't do it, because I know you have. I get email from them all the time telling me my dad, my brother, my husband won't let me wear the hijab. He tells me, oh, it's be better, just blend in, you know, Islam doesn't want you to look different, and just kind of sneak by, and, you know, it'll cause fitna, I'll lose my job, maybe we'll be in trouble, maybe the government's going to watch me. But what about Allah? Isn't Allah watching you? Isn't he really the one that gave you the test to start with? And then for those, you know that it's a part of Islam, but you still don't want to say anything because, well, in our family, you know, the women just don't do that. What am I going to say? I'm going to go home and tell my mom to wear a hijab? Oh, come on. I'm going to tell my wife? Oh, she might beat me up. You don't think Allah is going to beat you up? It's important, or else Allah wouldn't tell us that. It's very important. But by the way, here's another point, and I'm picking on you guys. Sometimes maybe they wouldn't want to wear it because you expect them to wear junk. Let them have some nice looking abaya. There's some clothes that's made for them just right, the right length, the right color, the right style. Not too heavy in the summer, but nice and warm in the winter. And, you know, I don't recommend you get something with bright colors, okay? That's not really, you know, you don't want to have flashing lights on it or something like that. But at least let her have something that's nice. She can enjoy it. And there's different opinions on how she can wrap her head and do stuff, but at least she's trying. And as Allah said, and will be known as a Muslim lady. So come on, guys, let's help these ladies go the right way. I think that's fair. Now that's question number one. Next question. This is for the brothers. Do the Muslims have to have a beard? No, not the ladies. You knew that was coming, right? That's the other side of the other one, right? Well, there's more. There's more. Do I have to grow my beard? No, you don't. How many of you here thought you had to grow your beard? Raise your hand. You thought it was wajib to grow your beard. Be honest, you thought it was wajib. You thought it was compulsory in Islam to grow a beard. Please raise your hand if you thought it was. Nope. In fact, it's impossible. You can't grow it. Only Allah can grow it. Somebody asked me one time, make dua, I'll grow my beard. I said, that's shirk. Only Allah can grow your beard. But I will make dua that you'll quit cutting it off. Somebody said, well, show me in the Quran anywhere it says you got to grow a beard. There's many ayahs telling you have to grow a beard in the Quran. How many of you knew that? There's ayahs in the Quran, you have to grow a beard. How many, Sheikh doesn't even know that. He's going, what the heck's he talking about? Ati Allah wa ati Rasul. Sneaky. That was sneaky, huh? You have to obey Allah and His Messenger. Right? And He ordered you to do it. Therefore, it's from the Quran indirectly. Obedience to the Rasul is obedience to Allahu Akbar. And this hadith is in volume 7. No, it's not. It's in volume 6, 700, in the English translation. Because the hadith number is 795, I think. And it says in there, Rasulullah told us to leave this beard to grow. Let it grow. Didn't order you to grow it because that's Allah doing that. But you leave it, but you cut this. You have to cut this. Here. To keep it from growing over into your, food and stuff. This has to be kept back. Plus, he hated the way that some of I think the Persians had this huge mustache. He hated that. That's wrong to let the mustache. I found so many Muslims, their mustache big and nothing here. They cut it all off. It's like the opposite. But then you got the ones who say, yeah, but what if I lose my job? I thought Allah is al-Razaq. Allah is the one providing for you, not this guy you work for. Well, yeah, but what if I get in trouble? What if the government doesn't like it? These guys, it's amazing in my country. I don't know about here. In my country, all of the presidents, up until very recently, you look at those all the way back to Washington, all of them got these beards, Some of them huge beards. Nobody said anything to them. You know what it is? We're just chicken. They're chicken. Now I'll give you another example about this beard thing. Brother came to me and he said, and this happened in a masjid down Mississippi. And I'd already told him about the women and the hijab, and the women didn't like that too much, by the way. And then they said, well, brother, I'm a doctor, you know, and I have to be careful of my patients. I said, don't you wear a mask whenever you're operating? He said, well, yeah. I said, can hair fall out of it? He said, no. I said, so? He said, yeah, but my wife likes me to keep it shaved smooth. Before I could stop my mouth, I said, I got to wonder about a woman who wants her husband to look like another woman. They never invited me back to Mississippi. I don't know why. That just slid out. I went, oops. It wasn't fair, was it? It was a cheap shot. And some people have legitimate durura, necessity. They have to. Like in Egypt when I was there. You got a choice. You can go to jail, okay, or you can keep your beard off. And even if you keep it up, you can still go to jail. They don't mind. That's Egypt. But I was just reminding myself that there are occasions when brothers don't have beards. They've cut it off for this or that, and maybe they needed to, and I don't want to get into that. But also there's some that can't grow it. It just doesn't ever happen. They wish they could have a beard. They kind of get mad at the one who's having a big beard, but he keeps cutting it off. They say, oh, give it to me. You know, I'll come by on the morning and pick it up because I like to have that. Okay, next question. Reba. Shall I answer that another night? Next time. Don't go there. These are real questions. I don't know how to answer those. Okay. There's some brothers here that can tell you about our schedule. You're asking about that. I'm going to ask them to make an announcement before I leave tonight. I'm going to have Jihad or Fadi, one of the two of them can come up and give some about that. I'm going to get this one last. Okay, next question. This is from my long list. Here we go. Music. Everybody got real quiet. Some are going, is it? And the rest are going, mm-mm. How many? This is not a democracy. It's not going to matter. It doesn't matter what you vote, okay? But how many of you here think music, haram, haram? Raise your hand. Whoa. How many of you think, no sweat, go for it? One. How old are you anyway? 8? It's okay for him, man. He's only 8 years old, man. He's watching cartoons. Nobody said it was cool. Good to go. Some of you, you're not sure, though. Exactly, right? I was 38 years around the music business, playing horns and drums, guitars, pianos, organs, keyboards. We had our own television show. We had our own music stores. And we sold musical instruments to churches. In fact, we made millions of dollars out of that business. I had a lot of fun in it. But when I got to Islam, we stopped all of it. As soon as they told me it was something in Islam that wasn't good, I was kind of shocked. I was. But after a while, I thought about it, and after I got into Islam, I realized for sure that's true. because of my experience in the music, I knew what it does to people. I know what it does because I purposely used it to do things to people and make them react the way you want them to react. And you fill their mind and their heart with this the same way that you fill the mind and the heart with the Quran. And it takes the same place. Allahu alam, but it seems like it takes up the same place in the heart and the mind as the Quran. Let me show you something. See that glass of water? See it? Now if I have a glass of water and another glass of milk, but my stomach's only going to hold one thing, and if I fill up on the water, will I be able to drink the milk? I can't. But if I drink the milk, will I be able to drink the water? And I can't. I can only hold so much. And if I want to drink the water now after drinking the milk, I've got to wait until what? Until I get all the other out of me. You get two choices. You can throw up, or else, the regular way. In either case, you got to wait till you get the thing out. How many here would not like to have the whole Quran memorized? You don't want to memorize it. How many here? You don't want the Quran. Okay, so then I don't need to ask how many want it. All of us want the Quran. The whole entire Quran, I want it in my heart. All of it. That means what? I have to have a place for it. Where am I going to put it? Am I going to mix it? Am I going to mix that with music? I want you to just think about that. I read the Quran just like you did. I read the tafsir, and you know it better than me. Most of you even know which ayah it is. That Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, said about the ayah number 6 in Surah Al-Luqman, when it's talking about the people that take the words of Allah as a joke. I want to find it for you. It's chapter 31. And of mankind is the one who purchases idle talks to mislead men from the path of Allah without knowledge, and it takes the path of Allah by way of mockery. For such there will be humiliating torment in the hellfire. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, that's music, wallahi, that's music. Do you consider him one of the top scholars of the Sahabi? Yes or no? But when he said this, then you just threw that away and turned the radio back on and said, I don't care. Regarding that, in Hadith number 7, volume number 7, Hadith number 494b, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, from my followers there'll come a day or a time or a people, and they're going to make halal alcohol. And they will make halal men to wear silk, and they'll make halal zina, illegal sex, and they're going to make halal musical instruments. This is Sahih Bukhari, from your prophet and my prophet, the Nabi, the beloved Habibullah. But you don't want to listen to him. You didn't want to listen to Abdullah, and you didn't want to listen to Allah, but you do want to listen to music. And Napoleon, the guy who used to be with Tupac, told me as exactly what I already knew. I don't want anything to do with music because it takes people away from Allah. You want to know? You asked. Now you know. And by the way, when you realize that our children know the names of so many celebrities, these rappers and these singers and these actors and actresses, and they know their songs and they know the versions of the songs, they know the keys that they come in, and they know how much money they make out of those songs, and yet you ask the child, can you name for me not 200 celebrities, which they know, or 500 songs, just name for me 20 Sahabi. Go ahead. Try it on your own children. Ask them, can you name for me 20 Sahabi? what do you think is going to happen? And tell them, even the Prophet's wives, go ahead and add that. In fact, I did that in Pennsylvania in a masjid school, weekend school. They were so proud that their kids know everything and they're such a great school. They were telling me. And they said, and we don't need you to come and tell them anything. I said, I know, I'm the last guy in the world to tell anybody anything. I said, just let me say goodbye to everybody. Can I do that? They said, sure. They gave me the microphone. Big mistake. So I said, I got to go now. I'm going to give everybody salams. Before I go, can I ask a question? And of course, yeah, sure. I said, anybody here ever heard of something called the Miami Dolphins? Whoa, yeah, we know all about that. And have you heard anything about the Dallas Cowboys? Whoa, yeah, Dallas Cowboys. And have you heard about this team and that team and basketball, baseball? You guys like soccer? You got other games going down here? Oh, they know the names of the players and the coaches, how much money they make, when they were traded. Oh, yeah, they were having a ball. Everybody's all happy because I'm asking about what they like. I said, okay, one last question. Who can name for me 20 Sahabi? First thing I heard was, what's a Sahabi? What game is that? That's the only game in town, man, for a Muslim. The companions of Muhammad. Oh, yeah. Who can name 20 for me? And they're just looking. I said, don't even start if you can't name 20. I need you to know 20. Nobody. I reduced it. 15. No takers. 10. And included the wives of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is more than 10. They could have done it with that, but nope. Nope. 5. Could somebody give me 5? But don't start if you can't give me 5. And including the Khulafa Rashidun. And that's 4 right there. Name them plus a wife and you got it. Nobody. I said, who will name 1? And I swear to you, I can't believe it, but it happened. A little girl put her hand up. She smiled. Her parents were beaming. Ah. She said, Abu Hanifa. Almost. He's a tabi. Some of you know that. He's a tabi. He had met some Sahabi, so almost a Sahabi. Subhanallah. So you need to listen to music. You need to watch the television. And your children can tell you more about the television and things there. And you wonder why your children, some of you, anybody here have children that are teenagers, almost, like 15, 16, 17, like this? Anybody? You got children this age? Yeah. Are any of them here? Anybody's a teenager? Raise your hand. Okay. Television. Next question. Television. Sheikh, is television halal or haram? Television is halal as long as you don't turn it on. After that, I don't think so. Why? 1, when you're watching television, what are you doing to your brain? What are you putting into your brain? You say, listen, my kids are just watching cartoons. Cartoons today are horrible. They're drawing the little girls, these girls in the cartoons are worse than some stuff you see out here on the beach. It's not a joke, man. And some of the cartoons have so much disrespect for parents, I can't believe it. You heard about The Simpsons? You have that down here? You have Beavis and Butthead? Did you have that down here? South Park? Do you have that?
Gotcha.
Busted. You're right. The script, if you wrote the script out and took it to any sheikh and said, is it okay for children to talk to their parents like that? They'll say, A'udhu billah. This is a sign of the last day, when the children are treating the parents like slaves. This is in Hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most famous of all the hadiths on the issue of what we believe. The Hadith of Jibril ends with asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the coming of the hour. And the signs are these. And he quoted that a slave gives birth to their own master. And the poor Arabs are competing with each other to build taller and taller buildings in the desert. How many of you been to Saudi Arabia? Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, been to these countries? Are they building tall buildings? Competing with each other just to make it taller and taller. And I asked one in Riyadh, why is this so high? And one in Jeddah is so high, and another one across the street, and they're empty. Nobody wants to even rent the building. Why do you want to build it higher? They said, so it'll be higher. Just to be higher than his. That's competing exactly like that. And when you see these children talking back to their parents like they're slaves, not just condescending like a slave. Hey, woman, I ain't eating that crud. And they go, ha, 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 isn't that funny? Look, South Park, ha, ha. How long before your children are going to be talking to you like that? In the United States, I don't know what kind of laws you have in Australia. I'm not going to try to tell you anything about your laws. In the United States, you cannot slap your child. You can't hit them. Because if you hit them and they go into school with a mark, your children are taken away from you same day. And when you go to the judge and they say, oh, you're Muslim? You betcha. They're going to put that child in a home, a good Christian home, where there's nothing but love and Jesus. That's right. Now go back and tell me again about how this television's got some benefit. You say, wait a minute, Sheikh, whoa. We just watching the animals, so I want the children to learn. They need to know about animals. Oh, really? Especially in Australia, I can't believe you guys would go for that. If you want to know the mating habits of a kangaroo, just go watch. What do you have to watch this stuff for? What is the benefit? What do you know today about alligators that you didn't know yesterday that's going to help you go to Jannah? What is it that's so fantastic about all the stuff you learned from these animals? You didn't learn nothing. Either way the animal goes, he goes to Jannah, right? Because he had no free choice, but you do. And the hours and hours in front of that thing, and how much time, ask yourself, how much time did I spend with this book today? How much time did I even hold it in my hand? How much time did I just open it up and just check a verse out? How much time? How much time did my children spend with me reciting the Quran? After Fajr, before we went to bed? Did we talk about an ayah or a football player? Did we discuss a hadith? Or did we talk about some music program or a celebrity? What are we doing? And will Allah ask us? I'm going to ask you the same question you asked me. Do you think television is halal or haram? You don't even have to tell me, because you know the answer. What about the music? Halal or haram? Why? Because anything that takes people away from La ilaha illallah is called what in the Quran? Munkar. Munkar. What takes people away from La ilaha illallah is munkar. But what takes the people to La ilaha illallah is called al-maruf. Yes or no? Read the tafsir. It's in Ibn Kathir. It says that. Exactly. I got it right there in English. It's what it says. If it's wrong, tell me. I'm just reading the book. I'm a new guy on the street. Help me out. But if that's right, then ask yourself, what am I doing every day? Am I bringing to my family munkar or ma'ruf? And then read, and this is the last thing for tonight, we're going to end with this, inshallah. But read from Al Imran, chapter 3, ayah 110. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. You're the best of people raised up, the best of the nations, because you call to al-maruf, the things that bring us to la ilaha illallah, and you forbid the munkar, and you believe in Allah. Where do I fit into that ayah? That's what I have to ask myself. Where do I fit in that ayah? Because when you go out that door tonight, if you haven't gained anything, you're no different than when you walked in, there's not much benefit for you to go to the masjid, really, except exercise. But if we learn something tonight that we can use, that we can take home, even a small thing, maybe tomorrow something bigger. We can grow, we can be better. Yes, I'll agree with those who told me Muslims today have a disease. It's true. I call it dunya-itis. We're all suffering from it. But there's a cure. There's a cure for this dunya-itis. And this is a big part of it right here. There's a big part of the cure is right there. It's in the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's in our ibadah to Him. It's in our salat. And it's in our dhikr. And it's what we're filling up ourselves with. Like this. Because you're like the glass. You can only hold so much of something. Remember what you're putting into yourself and into your family. Because you're going to experience it right here before you leave this earth. And for sure you're going to see it in the next life, and so will I. May Allah forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. And may He give us the best of this life, the best of the next life, and grant us His Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. Rabbana atina fi dunya hasan, wa fil akhirati hasan, wa qina adhaban nar. Ameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka Hamidun Majid. Jazakumullah khair ya ikhwan. I love all of you for the sake of Allah. See you on Thursday night, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
One Islam Productions, an Islamic film studio established in Australia, is dedicated to producing films for all Muslims. Just some of the films by One Islam Productions: children's programs, Islam for Me, We Remember Allah, Storytime, and more. Educational films, Pray as You Have Seen Me Pray, Words, Ramadan, Renewal of Faith. Documentaries. We at One Islam Productions believe that Islam is precious and deserves to be presented in only the highest quality. Visit us at www.oneislam.net for more information. One Islam Productions, a film production company run by Muslims for Muslims.
الرشيد الشهيد اللطيف الخبير. الله الله إلهي أنت الحليم العليم العظيم الرحيم السميع